Are we rolling? Is this rolling?
I hear that you have a love for a DVD collection.
Yeah.
When did you first get into DVD collecting?
I mean, collecting probably maybe like 4 years ago. But I've always had DVDs and VHS tapes and movies around the house growing up. I think that's what really sparked my love for it all.
What sparked your interest in DVD collecting?
Probably just making sure that I had all the classic films that I wanted and I grew up with and that I know I'm going to watch forever, because now we have streaming, but it's like, even if it's on stream, it's not going to be around forever. And then it's like, if you have a favorite movie, if you find a favorite movie on streaming, it's like, if you don't get it on DVD or if you don't get it on VHS or whatever, I mean, VHS is not really relevant anymore, but if you don't have it, then it's like, it's gone forever. And then you can never find it again, or you're gonna have to pay for it again, like to watch it again. So it's like, you might as well just own it, and you'll have it forever. If the world ends, at least you have a generator and a DVD player. Now you can watch whatever you want to watch. Like, you don't have to rely. Like, they can take anything down at any time they want on the internet. They can take the whole internet down right now if they wanted to. So that's why I like collecting DVDs. And I've always been a physical media type of person. Like, I like to touch stuff, like I like when I read, I don't like to read online or like a Kindle or anything. Like, I like physical media. I've always been a physical media type of person.
How did you react when you found out that Blu-ray DVDs were going to be discontinued?
Oh, dude, I was sick, and I kind of haven't like seen the repercussions of that just yet. Like, I don't think in the DVD world or like physical media world we've seen that just yet, because thankfully a lot of the new movies that have came out are still being released on DVD and Blu-ray. So I don't know like when they plan to completely phase that out. I know like Best Buy said they weren't going to sell DVDs and stuff anymore, but I haven't really ran into it too much. But when I heard about that, I was sad. I was like, man, the whole like generation grew up on DVDs. Like, it would be a shame to lose that for the replacement of what, like, I guess it would just be streaming stuff. So, which, how I feel about that.
So when you collect a certain DVD, how do you categorize it? Is it based on genre? Is it based on director? Like, how do you categorize your DVD collection?
I do genre. Yeah, it would be, I wanted to do alphabetical at one point, but it would be way too much work now. I would have had to have started it that way, because now I think I'm at like 700 or something DVDs in my collection. There's no way I'm going to go run through everything. And it makes it easier to do it genre-wise anyways, because I know when I'm in the mood for something, I already know where to look, and I know what to grab. Like, I know where to grab it from. So yeah, I do by genres. Directors, like, I don't really know too many directors off the top of my head. I have one of my good homies, Trey. He wants to be a director, so he knows a lot more directors than I do. But yeah, I can't name too many off the top of my head.
Well, I was just saying that to see like what method you went about, like, directors was just like
I'm sure that could be one, that because there are like Quentin Tarantino, like you could do him, and that's a whole like, you got like that Pulp Fiction, Sin City, like that whole era vibe, like Grindhouse films and things like that. But no, I do genre for sure. It's way easier in my mind.
Do you reward yourself for every DVD you collect?
The reward is finding the DVD itself. Like, it's to the point where my collection is so big now. Like, it can be months of me going out and going in the field and trying to find a certain film that I'm looking for, and I won't find it. And yeah, it'll get to the point where I'll order it off eBay or something if it takes me too long to find it. But there's no better feeling than like just going to the shop and finding that DVD that you've been looking for that completes like the last part or starts a part of your collection.
Everyone gets hyped, but to him it's like this is every day.
Right.
Like, I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah. Now there's no better feeling than seeing that, like, oh, it's like that moment where where SpongeBob opens up the fucking case and it's like the glow is coming out of it like that. I love that feeling so much. I mean, the selling and trading aspect of it, not too much. I really just get everything from my personal collection and hold on to it. I'll exchange DVDs with like some homies or something. Like I kind of use that as like a form of gift giving. Like if I know somebody likes this certain type of film, or like even if I want to put them onto something that they might not be used to, I'll kind of gift them like, okay, this is my favorite movie from that genre, or like a movie that got me into a certain genre or a certain series. Like I'll try to give that to somebody to put them onto it. But I don't really sell too much. There's actually a theater in downtown called the Plaza. I don't know if either of y'all have heard of that, but there's a Plaza and they do a VHS market maybe like 2 times a year. There's actually one coming up at the end of this month on the 28th, I think, or like the last Sunday. But some of the guys there will be like vendors. They'll do like an open air market kind of for like vendors who like just people who collect DVDs and VHS. So I thought like maybe at like some point if I started a page or got like a nice following, that's something that I would do. But I don't know. I don't have too much like doubles of anything. So there's not really much for me to sell. Like anything I would sell would be coming out of my personal collection, which would be hard for me to part with.
So for you buy, you collect, and you exchange.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't really sell. I'm not in like the retail space of moving DVD. If I had more, like if I had doubles of everything, but nah, like everything that I have, it's been hard enough for me to find one. It's like to find another one and not order it on eBay, or to just, like I could go that route. I can order things and have more stock, but no.
So if it's hard to find one certain DVD, that means the demand for
like there's some, and I think it's just the rarity. And the older the film, the harder it's going to be to find on DVD. Like, and it's funny because it seems like you'll be looking for one for a long time, and as soon as you find it, you'll see it everywhere. Like it never fails for that to happen. Like I'll find something I've been looking a year for, and then I'll see it everywhere. That was like Harry Potter. When I started collecting all the Harry Potters, the hardest one for me to find was the Chamber of Secrets. Not the Chamber of Secrets, the Sorcerer's Stone, the very first one. As soon as I found that one, I found all of them every day. It was like another one popped up, and I'm like, bro,
so when that happens, does it make that DVD not as special no more? Because not everyone has access to it.
I mean, I still think it's special. It's special to me because it took me forever to find it. Like, I don't know how somebody else's process. And then that's like, a lot of people probably just buy their stuff off eBay or go to Target or Walmart or something. Like, I'm going to like thrift shops. I'm going to secondhand used stores. I'm going to places that only sell vinyls, DVDs, CDs, cassette tapes, things like that. So there's not a big... Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, I might go to Goodwill or like Books A Million or something, or some place like that where it might be a little easier to find stuff. But yeah, I try my best to find it in the wild if I can.
Describe a time you were frustrated for a certain DVD that you desperately want.
I'm trying to think of a good one because there's been so many.
Like one that just had you on edge, one specific one that just had you like, man.
Probably one that I had to order would be not the last Nightmare on Elm Street, but I think one of the second to last Nightmare on Elm Street. It's called Freddy's Dead. And that one was hard for me to find. I got to the point where I got fed up and I was like, I have to get it. And I found it on eBay for like $5 and I got it. Because everywhere else I looked, it was like $20, $30. I didn't know why. So I just took advantage of the opportunity. Yeah, but that was a frustrating. Because that's one of my favorite series, like horror-wise, is the whole Nightmare on Elm Street series.
So what is the mindset for DVD?
I'm sure everybody's probably different in that.
Store.
I'm going straight to what I know I want first because I'm afraid if it's there, somebody else is gonna grab it off the shelf. But me, like the horror, that's my favorite genre. So I'm going straight to the horror movies and rifling through those and seeing what I can find and taking everything off the shelf that I want or I think I will want so nobody else can get it. And then I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna go through everything else. But I don't go in with any expectations. Like, I feel like you can't go in to collecting or like anything really with expectations of coming out with something. I mean, there's times I've drove 45 minutes to a store I've never been to in hopes of finding something different, and I don't find anything at all. So, but that's like half of the fun, because then it also gets you into areas that you don't normally travel around. So I try to take advantage of the whole experience. Like, if I'm going to go DVD hunting, like I'm going to spend some time in the area around the store too and see what I can get into.
So going to these stores with
right, because you'll be disappointed. Like you don't think it hurts when I drive hella far and then I'm like, damn, like all this for nothing. I spent all this gas, all this time. I didn't find anything. But it's also the excitement of like, it's like a double-edged sword, knowing you can go in and find something great, but then also knowing you can go in and find nothing, but also still having a good time just doing what you do and just enjoying yourself in the hobby.
He's in Washington, like he was in the car just like drinking a bottle.
Yeah.
Is that the feeling like when you don't
Facts, yeah, that's true. Like, damn, like, yeah, it's a little defeating, but I don't let it get to me. It's all good.
But it's just like you just like,
yeah, it hurts. It definitely hurts, especially when you go and you see something, but you tell yourself like, okay, like I can do without it, or I'll find it somewhere cheaper. I don't need it right now, and you haven't been able to find it, and then you go back to get it, and it's gone, and you realize you should have just gotten it. I feel like that's like the main thing with collecting and stuff is like,
so you gotta get it right.
Get it then, yeah, get it then. It's better to have it and then like you can do anything with it after that. You can sell it, you can return it or whatever. But if you pass up on something, that's like the most heartbreaking thing when you can't find it. Yeah, no, because it won't. It won't. You think it will, but it won't.
Streaming, those people running the globe behind the scenes, they could take that all away in a day.
Yeah.
So being a fan of having a fan.
Honestly, not much. And I only say that because of the way technology is progressing. Like, it's going to be a lot more cumbersome to have, like, you have to have a space dedicated to all this stuff. So it's like, I'm running out of space. You can only have X amount of bookshelves in a room before your whole room becomes a library, so... It's way easier to just stream stuff or download it or save it onto a tiny little USB or flash drive or whatever. So it's just, I feel like it's the rarity of certain DVDs will go up, yes, which will determine the price of those DVDs. But I think like CDs, DVDs, cassettes, whatever in general, like because the technology is advancing and that's essentially becoming like dead media, it's only going to be for a very niche group of people. Like, it's like a Super Nintendo. Like, a Super Nintendo is worth a lot of money now because it's not produced anymore. And there's a certain group, a subset of people, gamers, who want this technology so they can go back and play those nostalgic games. It's not like you can buy a Nintendo 64 and play a PS5 game on it. No, you're not buying it for that. You're buying it for the nostalgia purposes. You're buying it for that feeling that it gives you because it was a part of your core memory. So that in and of itself has a value. But that value is a value that can only be determined by a group of like things that aren't monetary, like a feeling. Like you have to put a number on this feeling that it gives you, whether that number is $5,000 or $2. That's up to the people to determine. But I don't think like you could go up to an old man and be like, who actually grew up with a Nintendo 64 and say, hey, like this Nintendo 64 is worth $500. They'd be like, why would I pay that? Like it cost that much brand new when it came out and it's 30 years old, 40 years old. Like that's ridiculous. But they don't have that same attachment that you have to this. So therefore it doesn't mean as much to them as it would to you. So that's what I feel like would be the future of any like physical media. It's going to be up to the people to determine like what it means to them.
Were there times you doubted wanting to continue your interest in collecting DVDs due to getting mocked or even getting made fun of?
Never.
Okay.
Never, bro.
So people
like,
encourage you to do this.
Yeah, like I mean, I feel like people like fuck with my DVDs heavy. I'll post polls sometimes of like, oh, like I'll have like 2 DVDs side by side. I'll be like this or that, and it's good. It's cool to see like people's reaction on what they feel is like a better film in their mind or and like vice versa and stuff. But no, I've never really gotten any backlash for it, and I would still continue to do it. I mean, it's just only thing that stops me is the limitation of space. Like my side stack next to my bookshelf is getting up there, so it's gonna get to the point where I'm just gonna have to get more space. That's the only thing that stops me from going out sometimes. It's like, man, even if I find something, I don't even have the space for it anymore.
Does this feel worthy? Is this like not everyone's watching movies via streaming?
Yeah.
But these certain individuals, they got the physical copies. So is that making them feel worthy?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good feeling to know, like, I guess like a before the wave type thing, like I was on that before it was cool. But I mean, even all that stuff, like aside from streaming, it is making a huge comeback. Like you guys remember those TVs that had like DVDs and VHSs in the actual TV itself. Like those TV VHS sets or whatever, like those are going for like $200-$300, like just to buy that, you know. So it's making a comeback. I feel like with a lot of people who are like our age, like late 20s, early 30s, who grew up in that time where that was a thing. Like a lot of people are kind of trying to get like drawn back to that space. But so yeah, I think it's like a good feeling to know like you collect DVDs and you have all this physical media and stuff that a lot of people don't have, and they would be sad if they couldn't watch what they wanted to watch anymore. But you're like, I still got it.
Where do you go to connect with a community of fellow collectors who share the same interests as you?
The VHS market, that's a good place. Movie theater in general is a good place. I feel like if you're at the movies, you probably want to be there, or you have some interest in what you're going to see. And then the DVD shops that I go to, just, you know, you got to do your research because it's not a lot of them anymore. And I go in there and I just like with the shopkeepers and stuff, I'll just chop it up with them and just talk to them about movies and whatever, you know, see what they saw lately, if they have any recommendations. And yeah, just surrounding yourself with like-minded people is just it's about like finding that space, which if it's DVDs and, you know, going to the movies, visiting shops, and if you see people out and about and they got DVDs in their hand, just chop it up with them, ask them questions and stuff.
And what's your personality? I'm sorry. What's your relationship with some of these shop owners?
Oh, it's good. It's good. I've been going to these places for years. Like since I've gotten into the hobby, I've been frequenting some of the same places maybe for like 2.5 years, almost 3 years at this point. So yeah, I feel like we have a pretty good relationship.
Describe the personality of a DVD collector. Like what characteristic traits do they have? I know they have to be patient for sure.
Yeah, patience, outgoing. Most of the people that I've met are outgoing, but at the same time, some of them are very reclusive, like because they just like to sit around and watch movies in their den all day long. It's not a lot of people that I go out DVD hunting with. Like I have one good friend, Trey. He's really cool. We met because I used to work at a skate shop and I was watching Wanted, the Angelina Jolie film where they curve the bullets. I was watching that and he came in there. We got to chopping it up. So we go sometimes, and he's kind of like me. He has a huge collection and everything like that. But like I haven't been around too many. I've been around people who collect, but I haven't been hunting with people like that. But I say everybody's super cool. Everybody's like really outgoing and just chill and yeah, very diverse people. I would say characteristics though. I don't know. Just it's everybody, everybody and anybody can.
So there's no misconception that they're shy.
No, I don't think so. Like I say, I mean, you have some people who are more reclusive, but I think that's either in their nature already, or that could be a byproduct of them being in the hobby. That is kind of like movies are social. They can be social, but to really understand and like dive deep into a movie, I feel like sometimes the best experience is to watch it solo. And especially like with me watching horror movies, that being my favorite genre, a lot of people have the misconception of it just being like a gore fest and it just being like completely pointless aside from the kills. But honestly, some horror movies like have some of the best messages of life that I've ever received before. So just give things a chance, I would say, before you go judge somebody for their preferences and what they like to watch. I guess that I'm probably more social than I thought I was. Being out and about and putting myself in that space where it's like like talking and getting other people's thoughts on a similar topic. It's kind of pushed me out of my shell a little, which I'm thankful for. So
talk to you about the world.
That we all have similar but different interests when it comes to general topics. Like, you know, movies are, you could say, do you like movies? You could say, yeah, but then you can dive deeper into that. You know, there's a lot of people that like independent films. There's a lot of people that like horror films, but they like different types of horror. You know, they like things like The Babadook or something that's more of like elevated horror, or, you know, like the A24 films, Hereditary and things like that. Versus me, I like slashers. I like, you know, Scream and Chucky and Friday the 13th and things like that. So even though we all have, you know, similar interests in similar things, it's still deeper than that.
Plan on passing your collection to your children?
If I have children, I'm 28, bro. I'm like, damn, if I have children, it's gonna next like 3-5 years. I don't want to be old and have kids. But if I do, I think so. Yeah, I would if they want it, and if like they're interested in movies, I wouldn't want to push that on them. Obviously, I think that's how I got into my collection and my love for movies was my mom. She would always have VHS movies laying around the house and we all watch them together and stuff. I would love to be able to pass that down because I don't know who it's going to go to. At this point, that only person it would go to would be my homie Trey because I know that he would appreciate them and love them and cherish them as much as I did. So, but if I had kids and they were into movies and they wanted the collection, yeah, I'll definitely leave it to them.
I believe I asked someone if they collect DVDs. They told me they do. And I'm thinking that they were going to tell me an outrageous number, like the number you told me, 700.
Yeah.
They told me something along the lines of like 40.
Yeah.
And I kind of had a crazy look because it's like, you know, I'm thinking they were an expert in this field. It's like, you perfected the art of being a DVD collector.
Yeah.
And that and your collection matches it.
Yeah.
So would you say
40? I mean, that's still a good number though. That's still a pretty decent number of DVDs, and it's like I don't think that anything like defines somebody based off the amount of what they have, but it's like the passion for it. Like you could have 5 DVD. Like I got a homie Brian, another Brian. Shout out to homie Brian. Like he just got started into it. I actually have a DVD that he wanted me to get from the shop the other day. This film called Looper with Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Great movie. Yeah, and it's sitting in my car right now, waiting to give it to him on Saturday. But he only started collecting maybe 6 months ago. He probably has like 10. But like like the fact that he's proactive about like asking me like if I'm going to the shop, like yo, check out if they have this or that. Like that shows me like okay. It's more than just getting this film for him, it's adding to the collection. So
I just like how you turn your love for DVD collecting into an art form. So it's just like you just don't love it like you actually live it.
Yeah.
It shows, that number 7 shows it. But if you got 40, it's just like
you feel
you're a rookie,
right. Yeah, I mean, no, you're probably new to the game. Like if you got 40, but that doesn't mean that like you don't love movies. You might not just have been collecting movies for that long.
Maybe those are just like must-have.
Yeah, or maybe they're just must-haves. Right, because I have some must-haves in my collection, and then I have some movies that I've never watched before.
Because I'm glad I landed you for this topic of DVD collecting. But when I was like brainstorming, I asked an individual and they said yes, and I started smiling because I'm like, yes,
I got one, and I'm like, so how much because I got a brainstorm. It's just like, all right, I asked them for the number that they have in their collection. They told me 40. And you were like, "Come on, bro!
So,
I need somebody, the expert. I don't need nobody just getting in the game." Yeah, and who knows, and it comes down to a lot of things. Like I like DVD hunting because it's not expensive. It's one of those hobbies that like you can go out with $10 and you can go to a thrift shop and you might walk away with 5 movies, 6, like 4 movies or whatever. So it's something that's nice too. Like, but if you buy new, like. It's Blu-ray movies are like $20-$30 a piece, so it's like even if there is something that just came out that I really want, I'll wait. Like I'm not in a rush to have it for the sake of keeping costs down, which could be a factor in a lot of people's collectibility. Like that's the thing about collecting is like you have to pay a lot of money for some of this stuff, and you don't know if it's going to go up in value or if it's going to go down in value. But that just goes to show you like who's really in it for the love of the game versus who's just trying to turn a profit or something.
So DVD collecting is low risk, high reward because you're not paying much money, but the reward is high.
Right. The entertainment is forever. Like you're paying $3 for a DVD that you're going to have for the rest of your life if you take care of it.
Do you have a lock for your DVDs to secure your collection from burglars?
No. And that's my biggest fear of having a lot of physical media is like a house fire. Just burn. And it's like, bro, I would knock on wood. I would just like, I'd be devastated. I'd be heartbroken. That's like my biggest fear is like being away from home and then like coming back and it's just burned to the ground. And I'm like, bro.
Do you collect behind the scenes content as well?
Not too much. And I know a lot of DVDs have like bonus footage and deleted scenes and things like that. And I'll watch the deleted scenes if I really like the movie, but I don't really watch. Like I like unrated versions of movies because that was like the true vision that the director had for the movie. So like director's cuts and unrated versions are probably my favorite. But yeah, I don't collect too much like behind the scenes stuff. But I do enjoy behind the scenes and watching how things were made because it's like a lot of the characters you get to see their true personality of like who they are just as a regular human being. So it's like I feel like acting, depending on the grade of the movie, but you know, if you have like a nice A-class grade movie, it's to the point where actors' jobs are to convince you that like what you're seeing is really their life. So you kind of get caught up in like, oh, this is this person's real personality, and then you watch them behind the scenes and you're like, oh, they're goofy. They're not like serious or whatever. Right, the bloopers, the outtakes, things like that. Yeah, like no different than us having a conversation. Be like, oh, I gotta cut it and I gotta do it again. It's like that. Like you see it picture perfect. And even skateboarding, like I like to watch raw clips that skaters get versus watching like a curated video part that has music in it and that's edited and everything is like super perfect. Like no, I want to see the imperfections in what led to this final result.
On January 2023, Justin Bieber sold 100% of his music catalog for $200 million. Sold everything, including the publishing copyright, performance rights, master recordings, and even neighboring rights. He doesn't have ownership of any of his songs he made since he was a teenager.
That's insane.
So he only has songs he made after 2022. You being a DVD collector, how do you feel about this? Was this a wise move?
I think you should own all of your catalog all the time. Like 200 mil in the grand scheme of things of like an artist like Justin Bieber. Like I feel like that's a horrible move. Unless it was like a quick cash grab and everything after that 2022, like yeah, you can still hold on to it and you can still master, but from my point of view, it's like, think about what got you here. All those songs and all that stuff that got you to this point where you can sell your catalog for 200 mil. So if you think it's worth 200, if they think it's worth 200 mil, it's probably really worth a lot more than that. And if you're still being able to go perform these songs and do all these meet and greets and have all the access to the stuff that got you to this point, it's like you're only going to continue to make more money off of that. And then you're also putting out more stuff on top of that. So, yeah, I don't know what that was about, but I don't think it's smart to sell your masters to anything,
so
to anybody.
Companies to all this, you think they were excited?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they came up. Yeah, you basically have the right to do anything you want with this person's music at this point. Like even the performance rights, like you could have a Justin Bieber impersonator now in Vegas performing all of his shows for half the price of actually getting Justin Bieber to pull up and perform that show for.
They could even edit certain lyrics.
Whatever they wanted to do.
Should there be a limitation as to what should be cherished versus what should be sold?
I think so. I think you got to keep some things low key and away from the people. You know, I mean, there's a price. Everything has a price. So
it's like him selling all that for $200 million. It's like he sold a part of his soul away.
Yeah. I mean, that was, like I said, I think that's a huge mistake. I wouldn't have done anything like that if I had a catalog worth $200 million and it's got me this far. And then it's only going to go up from there. So, yeah, some things you should just hold on to.
I remember as a kid, I used to download movies from, I don't know if you remember the site, PSPI.
I know Soap Today, but I never heard of PSI.
Soap Today, yeah.
I know Soap Today, though. Yeah.
He's from there.
Yeah, Soap Today, 123 movie.
What about Mega Upload back in the day?
I remember Mega Upload, yeah. I was always too afraid to download anything because I didn't want to get a virus.
See, that's actually the next question I was going to ask you.
No, but I used to burn a lot of music from like LimeWire back in the day. Like I would burn music and put it on a CD just to find out that it wasn't even the song that it was that I was trying to download. Like at the expense of my parents' computer, ruining it.
Sell them, right?
That's what they say.
Oh, okay.
If I mean pirating, like I don't.
It
doesn't matter to me. Like I'm not. If you want to pirate a movie, the neighborhood DVD man was the hero back in the day.
But it's just like, you know, they say it was illegal, but we all did it. So when does it really become illegal?
Probably when you get to the point where you're just like going too hard and you like get caught up for it. Like, I mean, I personally don't know anybody who's been in jail for pirating DVDs, but I'm sure there's somebody out there. I guess it depends on how you do it, though. I don't know. I've never been like posted up in the movie theater with the camera like recording.
I feel like you could have done a better acting role if you were in it.
That's a good one. Nah, I don't think so. But there are like roles that I feel like I impersonate all the time, and I'm always just like quoting movie lines in the perfect accent. I tell myself if somebody was stranded with me on an island, or if like I was stranded on an island, there's a good like maybe a good 10, 20 movies I could probably quote from start to finish on repeat. That would like keep me entertained for the duration of my time on that island.
State your top 3 quotes.
Oh, top 3 quotes. Probably like Rush Hour. Rush Hour would be a good one. I was like, oh, when he gets lost, he's looking for Lee, and then he comes across the lady, like the lady cutting the chickens, and she's like, he's like, how are you? She's like, you want chicken? He's like, no, I don't want no chicken. And he's like, I like my chickens dead and deep fried. You ever heard of Popeyes? She's like, oh, okay. And then she goes to chop the head off. He's like, ah! He's like, stop. He said, lady, put the blade down and let the bird go right now. That's one of my favorite ones. That's definitely top one. Two, I don't know. They just come to me. Like, they just come to me in random moments when, like, life presents that same scenario that the movie had, and then it'll just come out, and I always be like, he said, and then it got to the point where like one of my coworkers were like, who is he? Like, who, bro? Like, you always say he said. I'm like, nah, I'll just be quoting movies and shit. So
like for me, I'm not gonna say it's my favorite quote, but I remember watching Spider-Man all over again, the first one.
Yeah, classic.
The Green Goblin. It was like the last fighting scene. He told Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, see, that hits. You know what I'm saying? And then you can relate to that. Like, that's real. That's real talk, man.
It's so simple, but it's
impactful. Yeah, that's life. Some of the simplest things be the most impactful.
And then even the Batman one, the famous one, the well-known one.
Which one? The Dark Knight?
Yeah, live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Either die.
Oh, right. Die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. Yeah.
The director of that film, I would have trademarked that quote.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. That one hit. Yeah. Nah. There's so many good quotes. There's so many good movies, man. It's crazy.
Do you ever plan on entering the filming industry?
Well, I guess that goes to what we talked about. No, not really like being in as like acting or anything like that, but I think I do like being around it more now, like the cinematography aspect of it all and seeing how it comes together. I think I'm starting to enjoy that.
So you've probably seen so many things that people who've seen it just once or twice wouldn't have seen.
Yeah.
To that person.
Yeah.
Thank you for this discussion.
Yes, sir. That's it. That's a wrap. It's a wrap on that, y'all.